According to the American pragmatist John Dewey, inquiry is the controlled or directed transformation of an indeterminate situation into one that is so determinate in its constituent distinctions and relations as to convert the elements of the original situation into a unified whole. The indeterminate situation is, in effect, open, whereas the determinate situation is closed and finished. Determinate situations make up our universe of experience. As part of his explanation of inquiry's antecedent conditions, Dewey warns us not to lose our heads by getting our feelings involved in the process of inquiry. He disagrees with Immanuel Kant's theory that apart from each other, perceptions are blind and conceptions are empty. Dewey says that these perceptions and conceptions need synthetic understanding to bring them together to introduce a unified situation. For him, perception and conception represent logical divisions of labor. To explain the operational character of facts and meanings, Dewey distinguishes between ideational or conceptual subject matter and existential observed facts. Ideational subject matter becomes operational in an inquiry as it anticipates a solution and directs new observations yielding new factual material. Existential observed facts bring up conditions previously obscure and toss out other aspects that hold no relevant value. He stresses that the organization of inquiry can only be achieved as the two operations interact with each other. Symbols defining terms and propositions are required to retain and carry forward ideational and existential subject matters so that they may properly control inquiry. If observed facts are not carried by use of symbols, they lose their provisional character. The thinker asserts them categorically, and inquiry comes to an end. The problem is closed, and inquiry ceases. In Education as Growth, Dewey distinguishes two traits of what we call immaturity: dependence on others and plasticity. He describes dependence contrary to the way we might think of it. Dependence is constructive in that it is accompanied by growth and ability, not by a decline to parasitism. From a social standpoint, dependence denotes power rather than weakness. It involves interdependence. Plasticity is the specific ability of an immature creature for growth. It is essentially the ability to learn from experience, the power to retain from one experience something that helps us cope with the difficulties of a later situation, the power to modify actions on the basis of results of prior experiences is the power to develop dispositions, which develop habits. Dewey defines a habit as an ability to use natural conditions as a means to an end. It is an active control in that the habit gives us control over the environment and the power to use it for human purposes. Whereas habit as habituation is relatively passive. It balances organic activities with the surroundings and furnishes a background of growth. Active habits involve thought, invention, and initiative as we readjust activity to meet new conditions that constitute growing. The instinctively mobile and eagerly varying action of childhood too easily passes into a settling down, which means an aversion to change and resting on our achievements. Only an environment which secures the full use of intelligence in the process of forming habits can counteract this tendency. There is a need of persistent care to see that the function of intelligence is invoked to its maximum potential. Therefore, using drill to secure external efficiency of habit and motor skills without accompanying thought deliberately limits the surroundings of growth. Active habits involve thought, invention, and initiative, applying capacities to new aims. Routines mark the arrest of growth. Everything depends upon how development is conceived. The educational process has no end beyond itself. It is its own end. Growth is regarded as having an end instead of being an end. In traditional American education, conformity is the aim of education. What is distinctively individual in the young is brushed aside, and conformity becomes equivalent to uniformity. That creates a lack of interest in the novel, an aversion to progress, and a dread of the uncertain or unknown. Dewey notes that the educational process is one of continual reorganizing, reconstructing, and transforming. In reality, there is nothing to which growth is relative, and there is nothing to which education is subordinate but more education. The inclination to learn from life itself, that we will learn in the process of living, is the finest product of schooling. The criterion of the value of the school education is the extent in which it creates a desire for continued growth and supplies means for making the desire effective in fact.
The world is moving at a tremendous rate, No one knows where. We must prepare our children not for the world of the past, not for our world, but for their world, the world of the future.